The World Cup has been a magical moment for the entire city. These are New Yorkers, and they will be New Yorkers when they get out of Rikers. They're New Yorkers today, and I wanted to make sure that we can celebrate this moment together.
People online are very mad at me for calling this out, but I really don't care. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, your home for independent-minded analysis and commentary on politics, media, internet insanity, and more. And we're going to check in with Zohran Mamdani, the quite controversial but also increasingly popular far-left mayor of New York City. Now, one thing I do like about Zohran Mamdani is that he is a big soccer fan. Y'all know I am as well, and I've been following the World Cup with lots of interest and monitoring all the games. And really, I do love the Premier League. I'm a big soccer guy. So listen, the fact that Mayor Mamdani is into soccer, in my book, pretty cool. Not really consequential in the grand scheme of things and what actually matters, but sure, great. What I did not really understand or appreciate was that for the big match last night, out of all the hundreds, if not thousands of places in New York City that Mayor Mamdani could have gone to, bring spotlight to a local pub or business or restaurant or what have you to watch the game, he decided to go to Rikers Island and take in the match with very serious criminals, many of whom are charged with very severe offenses, including murder and rape. So, yeah. Here is the reporting about this. Well, first, here's the tweet that went viral from Ed Krasenstein. New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani watched the World Cup at the Rikers Island prison with inmates. He's mayor for all New Yorkers. Source, Associated Press. Now, here is the Associated Press's video about this. Let's watch.
There is a match happening, and we talked about 66. You have one star only. You can shoot it there. And then the second, they have 3. The same thing.
Who you guys root for? I hope that this shares with...
This is just such a weird photo op to me. Who are his advisors that are like, you know what? We got to get him shoulder to shoulder with some seriously charged criminals. Okay. Could have done like a mom and pop restaurant or bar and brought the spotlight and attention to them. But you're like, now let's go watch the game with the prisoners at Rikers. I think that's really weird. I think that's a very strange choice and a very odd use of your platform as mayor. I know I'm not saying that I want inmates to suffer. I'm against, poor conditions at Rikers or anywhere else, but it's like, do you really need to spotlight them and make their day and go out of your way to use your platform to draw attention to hardened criminals in many of their cases, when you could have, boosted a local business or restaurant or sports bar or something? Just seems strange to me. And that's what I said online. And people got so angry. We'll go through that in a minute, but I'm like, sorry, I'm not sorry. That's weird. And also has to be put in the context that Zohran's entire adult political career, he expressed some pretty extremist statements, like abolishing prisons and defunding and abolishing the police. And then suddenly is doing these strangely cozy photo ops at Rikers. I just, who doesn't find that weird or slightly sus? Am I crazy? I don't think so. Anyway, we'll keep watching.
People who are incarcerated here on Rikers, that they too are a part of New York City. The World Cup has been a magical moment for the entire city. These are New Yorkers, and they will be New Yorkers when they get out of Rikers. They're New Yorkers today, and I wanted to make sure that we can celebrate this moment together.
Okay. Some of them are also charged with murder. I guess, yeah, they're New Yorkers, but in that they live in New York in a prison, I don't know, it's just weird. There's lots of New Yorkers you could highlight, and you're like, let me go hang with the criminals. And to be fair, a lot of them are charged and not convicted, so I want to clarify that you can't assume they're all guilty. But it's just odd to me. What do you mean? Why are you doing this? Don't you understand how this looks, how this comes off? Anyway, I guess we'll keep going.
Messi, World Cup, I guarantee you. It's not a sports bar, we can't get our drinks on and stuff like that. That's okay, though. We got to eat on, so that was good, though. You know what I'm saying? So we got the, privilege of drinking stuff, eating food that we don't really get has, and, like with me, I've been locked up 21 months, so it's been a long time since I had real food like that.
These two teams are rivals for decades, and can it get any better than this?
I wish the Associated Press had, next to their names, put what they're in for. Wonder why they didn't do that. I'm not saying anything about these individuals. I don't know what they're charged with. But it's like, that would have been an interesting chyron to add. Might have added a little color to this story. Because it's like, how am I going to beat if you even want to beat them, I guess. Maybe he doesn't even want to beat them. But like one of the allegations, and it's well substantiated against Mayor Mamdani, is that he's soft on crime. That he comes from this left-wing school of thought that believes in defund the police and abolish prisons and all this stuff. And he's like, you know how I'm going to beat the allegations? I'm going to go celebrate the World Cup with inmates charged with serious crimes at Rikers, rather than use that opportunity to spotlight a local business of, hardworking, law-abiding New Yorkers. It's just weird. It's just politically also. I mean, politically, it seems to me that whatever advisor thought this was a good idea should be fired because it can only hurt. The kind of people that like this are already progressive as progressive as you can be. So they're already supporters of Mamdani. And this will only isolate people. I don't think there's anyone out there who's like some independent who's not sure how they feel about Mamdani that's going to see him breaking bread with hardened criminals and be like, heck yeah, that's my mayor. I don't know. I'm not a political strategist. I'm just a professional yapper, but that's my hunch. All right, we'll roll the last bit of this video, then we'll get into more from Mamdani on this. Let's watch. I'm so glad he made their day. So there you have it. There's the Associated Press's report on this. Like I said, I would have liked them to add, some captions or chyrons with each criminal that they highlighted, or alleged criminal. Like I said, some of these people haven't been finally convicted, and that's an important qualifier. But I'd like to know what they're charged with. That would have been an interesting piece of information to include here. And all I said on Twitter, because I don't think this is the end of the world or anything. I just think it's odd. All I said was, this is extremely weird to me, because it is weird. It's a weird choice. I'm not saying these prisoners are subhuman or should be or are not, human beings with rights or dignity or anything like that. I'm also not saying, to be clear, that the mayor shouldn't visit Rikers Island. He, of course, should, but he should do so in an official and supervisory capacity for actual business, not to just hang with the convicts. Though, again, not all of them are convicts, but you get what I'm saying. And all I said was, this is weird. To choose to use your massive spotlight and platform to do this instead of going to a local bar or business that you could promote with law-abiding people who contribute to society. All I said was, it's weird. And people got so mad at me when that tweet started blowing up. Reply, maybe because you lack empathy. I don't know. Is it lacking in empathy to just question whether this spotlight would have been much better used elsewhere? I don't know. Someone else said, yes, all the worst people will find this weird and offensive. Am I weird for finding this weird? Or I'm sorry, am I the worst person for finding this weird? You guys can let me know in the comments. I don't know. Somebody else says, I'm logging onto the internet. They're saying this is me. I'm logging on the internet to announce to everyone that I'm a cop. Okay. I'm not in fact a cop, but I don't view that as a terrible thing to be either. Obviously, there are some police who are bad, individuals who are abuse their power or their authority or do harmful things. But generally, I do appreciate law enforcement and think they fulfill an important role in society. And I do have appreciation for people who put themselves in harm's way. This is where the radical leftists, I just feel like we really exist on different vibrations. We just two ships passing in the night. There's really no overlap. It's a Venn diagram, except it's just two circles. in terms of, I mean, I'm sure there's some things where we could find some common ground or have a dialogue or whatever, but it's like, yes, I find what Mayor Mamdani did here extremely strange. And they think that, of course, no, it's super normal. And so we're just not on the same page. And I have to say, you have to put this in context of Mayor Mamdani coming into office with this long legacy of statements that suggest he literally doesn't believe in prisons and wants to let criminals run free and that wants to defund and abolish policing. That's not a caricature. These are the public statements he made during his long career as a politician and then like quietly sort of backed away from the second he was running for mayor. So for example, here's what he tweeted in 2020, which is not ancient freaking history, people. And he was well into adulthood. It's not tweets from when he was in high school. He was a politician actively at this time. He tweeted in 2020, "The entire carceral system is an unreformable public health hazard. Defund and dismantle." So it's not crazy for me to look at this photo op and think that's like weirdly sympathetic to potentially very serious criminals when it's in the context of a dude who's previously said he wants to just abolish all the prisons. Am I going insane? Because they're saying I'm the weird one. I'm crazy for this. I'm not. I'm weird and crazy for a lot of other reasons, but not for this. Anyway, guys, here's a clip of Mamdani on a podcast just a few years ago suggesting that prison shouldn't exist. Listen to this.
Are prisons obsolete?
Whew, coming through with the quotes, coming through with the titles of the books. I have to read that, actually. I haven't read that as yet. But I think that, frankly, I mean, what purpose do they serve?
Right.
Oh,
Right? I think we have to ask ourselves that, which is that, you know, I think a lot of people who defend the carceral state, they defend the idea of it and the way it makes them feel.
I do appreciate and feel better when actual murderers and rapists are incarcerated in the carceral state. That's not to say how the system runs is all fine and dandy and there shouldn't be serious reforms. Of course there should be. But when you're like unclear on whether prisons should even exist, that makes me question your sanity. And you're saying this as like a full-grown middle-aged adult politician. That clip's from just a few years ago. And now Zohran Mamdani is smiling and doing photo ops with some people charged with very serious crimes at Rikers Island for the World Cup, instead of promoting literally anyone else, like a local business or restaurant or New Yorker that he could have drawn the spotlight to and had a huge flood of business and revenue to. Instead, he's like, yeah, we'll do our World Cup celebration at Rikers. I'm not crazy for finding that strange. And you're not going to gaslight me into thinking otherwise. Sorry, not sorry. I stand on it 10 toes down. That's my take, and I'm sticking to it. But you guys can let me know what you think in the comments. That's what they're there for. And do make sure to subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button while you are at it. And if you enjoy my commentary and analysis, well, I do call out the far left and the far right, and it's really not the best business model. Just pandering to one side exclusively with slop content is how you get millions of subs and make millions of dollars. I don't do that. I'm too opinionated, too stubborn, and I would probably find that boring anyway. So instead, I do a more independent approach. And for that, I do need support from viewers like you. Hit the join button or click the link in the description or pinned comment to become a channel member. It's the best way to support my work. I also do videos where I react to member comments and questions. So if you want to ask me about something or have some feedback or a roast or a compliment, of course, I'm always open to compliments. If you want to have me respond to that potentially on air, then become a channel member, then drop it down in the comments below. And with that, guys, we'll leave it there for this one and be back with more real soon.